He got hung up.
He hung on the brush. He's coming in, isn't he? You got him.
I still got him.
He must have been hung around a brush.
He was.
Yeah. You got him. He must have been wrapped around a piece of brush there. That's a little bit bigger crappie. Getting up in.
Keep feeding?
I don't, Wilson. Getting up in size a little bit. Yeah, he's getting up there a little bit, Wilson. Go ahead and, yeah, we'll go ahead and just keep that one. Here, I'll get it for you. There you go. All right, way to go. We'll keep a couple of the big ones if you want. I just broke off there and I want to show you real quick how we do this. We're going to tie me on another jig head. There's all different knots you can use. I usually put my line through, take a bunch of twists on it, and then I'll come back through the eye again to give it a little bit more double strength right there, if I can get it through there. Seems as you get older, your eyes get worse and it's harder to thread these things. Pull it back through that loop, wet it a little bit. Well, one of the disadvantages of using the light line. Wet it a little bit, and that just helps it slide down the hook and pull it tight. Cut that tail end off it. Now what I'm using, like I said before, I was using a brown and chartreuse jig. Now these are supposed to be chartreuse and they're just faded a little bit. But you just put that tube jig on there like that and slide it right through the tube. Push it up on that barb, and that's it right there. That's basically a simple way to rig a tube jig, and it works really well. I mean, as you can see, it's been nailing a few crappie on this particular hole. They're not very big, but it's been catching crappie. If it had some big ones, it probably would be catching them too, but I guess there ain't any big ones there. You know, there's all different kinds of baits you can use for crappie fishing. Anything from live baits to jigs, to jig heads with spinners on them, tube jigs, little flip tail grubs. It's really depending on the way the fish are on a given day. You know, it depends on their attitude, depends on their feeding mode on any given day, and they can be different from one day to the next, and sometimes they can be different from a couple hours to the next hour or so. Fish change from hour to hour a lot of times depending on the weather conditions. You know, I like to use tube jigs with 1/8 ounce, 32nd ounce, 16th ounce jig heads. Tube jigs come in a variety of different shapes and sizes, different colors. You have chartreuse and brown, you've got red and chartreuse, you've got black and chartreuse, pink, and there again the main factor is water clarity. That determines a lot as far as what color jig head, what color tube jig, what color bait a particular species of fish that you're fishing for on a given day is going to want. Crappie, for instance, are really a versatile fish. You can use a variety of different colors, but then again, on different days they can be real finicky also. There's other kinds of jigs, like you've got flip tail grubs, and they come in different variety of sizes and colors. I like to use the small inch and a half flip tails. That usually matches a lot of the particular size bait that a crappie happens to be feeding on in most generally all the lakes. So that's basically another good bait. And then you have your Vibrex and your rooster tails. They work good for crappie as equally as well as your Blakemore Roadrunners in them. Here we go. So, you know, as far as crappie fishing goes, there's a variety of different baits you can use. And as soon as I pull the bait out of this one, I'll show you this tube jig I'm using. This happens to be a tube jig with a 1/8 ounce jig head, and it's a brown and chartreuse, and there it is right there. Now that one works really good for me, especially in darker stained water. You know, the darker and more stained water you're fishing in, you want to use a dark color. It seems like it's really opposite the way you want to fish when you're fishing on a lake. You think when you got clear water you'd want to use a clear type jig in that type of a situation, but that's not necessarily always so. So you need to learn to play around when you're out on a lake with different jigs, depending, watch your weather conditions, watch the water surface. If you've got a lot of waves, a lot of ripples, A lot of times the fish won't be as deep as they normally would be if the water surface is, you know, is good and calm and no ripples on the water. So you want to pay particularly close attention when you're on a lake to a lot of different conditions, and that'll just help you put more fish in the boat.